So I woke up this morning and I wasn't really sure what I was going to say about the football today. I didn't know how I felt about the game yesterday, and then I looked online at a little bit of the reaction, and and then I knew exactly what I was going to say about it. And as the title says, definitely disappointing, but it certainly wasn't a disaster. So let's have a little chat about the football, shall we? All right, so first off, I'm trying, hopefully, to hit 500 subscribers by Christmas. So if you'd like to help me out a little bit, that'd be great. If you can leave a like, drop a comment on the video, and subscribe just to help me out. I'm trying to grow the channel a little bit, so nice one. Anyway, so as I said, it was disappointing, but it definitely wasn't a disaster of a game yesterday. And the stats which you'll see up there next to me do show that it was a typical Manchester City performance, right? We had more possession, we created more chances, we had way more passes, more pass accuracy, more shots, more chances. Everything in general pretty much favoured Manchester City in that game. But it was one of those games that we do see from City a few times a season, actually, and almost every season, that we struggle a little bit to click. You know, the passes aren't as slick sometimes, the chances aren't always there, and then the runs aren't always being made or found or something like that. And we do get those sort of games, as I say, 1 or 2 times, 3 times a season, and we all obviously wish that those games don't happen, but sometimes they do happen, and yesterday was just one of them games where it happened. Any other day we'd have scored 3 or 4 or 5 of those chances that we missed yesterday, and we'd be sitting here today dead happy again. Erling Haaland would have another hat-trick, and you know, the rest of the team would be flying. We'd be top of the league until Arsenal play later when they beat Man United, hopefully, and you know, we wouldn't really be having much to say in terms of negative things. But there are a few negative things to talk about, and I'm going to come on to Villa in a bit, but I want to start with the negative things for City. We definitely weren't at the races in the first half. We did look a little slow. We did look a little clunky. Passes, as I said, passes that would usually connect weren't connecting. Runs that would usually be picked up weren't being picked up, or they were being cut out, or, you know, whatever. But I do feel that as we came out in the second half, I feel that we picked it up from where we should have been, and we showed more of the way we play, and those passes were connecting and those chances were being created. And that showed, I think, with Haaland's relatively early goal in the second half, which is his 10th of the season, by the way, double figures after just 6 Premier League games, which is the joint most in Premier League history. Tell me in the comments if you know who he's joined with now. It's a bit of an obscure name that not many people talk about, so it'd be nice to know without Google if any of you remember who that is. But yeah, we came out in the second half and I thought we played much better for the whole second half, to be honest with you. There were those chances in the first half. There was that time where Kyle Walker, who's this game and the Newcastle game, I don't think he's been at his best, and he came off injured obviously as well. That chance where Kyle Walker in the first half, he kind of smashed it as a right back normally would, rather than crossing it across the middle, where he might have had some better options with Haaland there, or I think it was Foden or one of the other midfielders that were stood there waiting for the ball. His eyes sort of lit up and he went and smashed it. So yeah, I don't think Kyle Walker's had the best of games in a lot of them recently, and he didn't cover himself in glory in that situation. But I think all in all, the good sort of not outweighed the bad from yesterday, but it definitely wasn't too disparate, right? There wasn't a massive difference between the bad and the good. I thought the bad and the good was quite 50-50 yesterday. In that second half, we made up for it a lot, and we had a lot of chances, and as I say, you know, any other day, those chances are going to go in. They're going to bounce off the post and go in. They're going to, you know, whatever, right? And I think a lot of the reason why those chances didn't go in, and what I want to move on to next, is because of the way that Villa played. I thought Villa were very good yesterday, first half and second half. I thought they were really good for what they were trying to do, which was essentially be a team that's fighting for their lives at the minute, where the manager's under huge pressure, and their game plan was to sit behind the ball, soak up the pressure, try and hit us on the counter-attack, which many teams do try and do, a lot of the time unsuccessfully, but sometimes then games when we're not 100% on it, it works. And it worked for them. Their tactic that they set out to do worked perfectly. As I say, they sat back, they frustrated us, they put 11 men behind the ball, they cut off the channels, they intercepted the passes, they blocked the crosses, they saved the shots, and then tried to hit us on the counter-attack. Once we did get through, and once we did score that goal, they came out a little bit at us, and they showed that they can play. You know, we saw at the end of last season when they went 2-0 up against us that they can definitely play. They're not a bad team. They're just in a really bad patch of form at the minute. They can definitely play, and they showed it that they can play, and they scored a really good goal. And once they scored that goal, they sat back again, and they soaked up the pressure again, and they let us come onto them again, and they dealt with it, and we couldn't break them down. And that was their game plan, and they executed it very, very well. So huge praise for Villa and the way that they played yesterday. Is definitely more a reason why we dropped points was more down to them. I believe it was more down to the way that Villa played rather than the way that City played, especially in that second half. You know, I think they really gave as good as they got yesterday, and I think a draw was a very fair reflection on how that game went. We should have won, definitely, based on how we've been playing and how they've been playing. Yeah, we should have won that game, but based on that individual game and how they played and how we played, then I think a draw is a very fair assessment of that. So yeah, we've seen time and time again, like I say, that when teams do that against us, and when we're not 100% on it for whatever reason, you know, we should be 100% on it, I get it, right? But for whatever reason we're not, we do struggle. But one good pass in that game, one good cross in that game, one vital run in that game, and we score another goal, and then it's game over. And some of the overreactions I've seen based on that game, which is what I was talking about earlier, some of the overreactions I've seen online when I woke up this morning based on the game yesterday, I think were exactly that. They were massive overreactions. We've played 6 games, won 4 and drawn 2. We've not lost a game yet, and I know our standards are very, very high, and so they should be. And I know that we're not top of the league because Arsenal have started like a house on fire, and they've won 5 of their games for the first time in God knows how long. But I do think that we've been the better team in all of those games. Maybe Newcastle game aside, where we weren't. Obviously, we were quite lucky to get back into it in that second half. But in the other 5 games, we've definitely been the better team. We've definitely shown that we're well up for it this year. The defense hasn't fully clicked yet. We've been leaking a few more goals than I'd like to, obviously. But I don't think it's something major that we need to worry about. I don't think anything drastic needs to change. I don't think anything there's anything Pep needs to work on differently on the training grounds. You know, I still think that we're all right. You know, we're all right. Calm down a bit. We're good. We're still good. We're fine. Liverpool dropped more points yesterday. Hopefully one of United or Arsenal has to drop points today. We're good. We're fine. Yeah, it's just the overreactions were just a bit much. So looking forward onto what's coming up soon. Champions League kicks off this week, which I'm really looking forward to getting into. I don't know if you heard me cat food thing go off there, but it did. So yeah, Champions League kicks off this week. We've got Sevilla on Tuesday, which is a big game. We want to set our mark in the Champions League this year with a great result, should I say, a big result. Hopefully we can sort of stamp our ground. That was what I was trying to say. Stamp our ground in the Champions League and build on something there. And then, of course, we've got Spurs on Sunday who are flying, and that'll be a huge game that we definitely need to win. So we need to be 100% for that. I'm wondering how long the players that are playing a lot of games now can continue to play a lot of games, and where Pep sees that he's going to have the chance to rotate, because obviously after the Tottenham game, we're going to have the Dortmund game on the Wednesday, I believe that's going to be. So I'm really interested to see how he's going to sort of jiggle the team around and how he's going to move the team around and who's going to come in and who's going to go out. How long's Haaland going to be able to continue to play games for? When's he going to need a rest? So I'm really looking forward to seeing the next couple of months up until the World Cup, basically, how we're going to handle everything that goes on. Maybe Haaland will get a few more games than what the other guys will because he's not going to the World Cup. You know, I don't know. I'm not a full-on sports scientist, so I don't know when the best time to drop players and rest them are. Obviously, the team will, the backroom team will. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens in the next couple of months. And as always this year, I'm going to be here, and usually, hopefully, the day after, to bring you my opinions, just like I have today on them. So thank you for watching the video today. Again, please remember, if you liked it, leave a like, give us a comment just to say what your opinion on the game was yesterday, and subscribe to the channel to see some more. See you later.